What's up, everybody? This is Ted, and I'm going to do a review for a movie that I bought over the weekend. I asked Manuel about it. Manuel told me not to get it. He was like, bro, do not waste your money on this. And I'm like, bro, but I can't help it. Like, I can't help it because I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And JoJo Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable, Part 1, live action, is released in America. It came out in 2017 in Japan. Big did a great big box office thing, I guess, for the most part. It's really a lot of people. I haven't seen any negative comments unless people do not like JoJo's or if they don't like live action adaptations. But I don't blame them. Shout out to Netflix Death Note. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about these reviews because I really don't like doing that, but I will mention a lot of parts of it. There will be spoilers, so if you don't want to watch this video because of spoilers, go watch my other JoJo's video if you like JoJo's, where I talk about why I like it and why you should watch it if you haven't seen it before, or if you don't like it or how you should give it a chance. Link in somewhere. Just click the video, bro. It's there. But yes, so what I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about the major parts. I'm going to talk about some changes, some Easter eggs, and how I like the video. I'm about to talk about most of I don't really know the voice actors for all of them. I mean the actors, but I will go into about how their performance was. So let's talk about the first beginning part. So the opening sequence of this movie is that it shows Angelo, which is which is in the anime, which is a minor villain, is now one of the major villains in this movie. Angelo is a serial killer. He goes around killing people. Very smart guy for what he is because he knows when to use his intelligence. He has a very high IQ, but he's just a murderer. In the beginning intro, it shows the cops at a standoff at a house. There's people tied up, and he's killing somebody, and he knows he's surrounded. So they're barging in and whatnot, busting the door down. Of the he jumps out of the window, and he's running through the rain. He's going past this big old puddle of water, and he's stopped by someone who's coming out of the bushes, and that is our second villain, whose name is Kaicho, and Kaicho shoots him with this arrow. And if you get shot with this arrow, you become a stand user. If you survive, if not, then you don't get one. Basically, you have to have the willpower and manifest. You basically have to manifest the willpower to do it. But unfortunately, he shot a serial killer who likes to kill people and is very smart. And he dude has an IQ, so basically he's able to come back alive, and the blood from the arrow goes into the water, and that's what creates his stand, Aqua Necklace, which is a water-based stand, and he's able to kill the cops and get away. Now, that's pretty new. Like I said, I don't think that was in the anime, but this next part is in the anime. There's a lot of let me go over the parts that are actually very, 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 very close to the anime or very just like it. So basically, the intro with Koichi. Koichi is a new character. He's barely moved to the town. He gives you a history of the town. He's like, oh yeah, it used to be it's a quiet little place. It's becoming like a very has a rich history, and it took a while for it to become modern, and now it's modern. It has a lot of people, but a lot of people used to live there, but not anymore because there's a lot of missing people and murders and whatnot. And so basically, that's just like the anime. But this next part isn't. So when he's about to meet Josuke, and he met Josuke in by a water fountain trying to save a turtle. But in this case, he's on his way to school. He gets stopped by some thugs, and they want him to pay to get by, but he doesn't want to. So there's an altercation. But Josuke comes by, and let me tell you something about these JoJo characters, even in live action. Major props to the actors, because I'm pretty sure they studied body language and how they walked and how they talked. Because dude playing Josuke comes in, and he has the same little stride and the little walk he has and everything, like he's just a badass. And he was able to he just walks past the thugs, and the thugs are like, hey, wait a minute, you gotta pay to get by. And Josuke's like, huh, I ain't paying nothing. So basically the thugs call him, and thugs make fun of his hair. And if you don't know Josuke, if you talk mess about his hair, you're dead, you're done. And so basically he starts fighting him, and you see this fist manifest, but we see it, but they don't. So it punches a dude in the wall who calls him stupid. His homie tries to come tries to help him, but Josuke hits him too, breaks Koichi's bike, and obviously there's some damage done to the people, and he heals them, and the thugs are like, bro, what's going on? And Josuke's like, yeah, get out of here or else it's gonna happen again. So Josuke tries to tell him like, hey, we're in the same class, but Josuke Koichi tries to tell him Josuke they're in the same class, but Josuke doesn't pay attention to class. And so Koichi tries to get on his bike, but it's broken, and he's like, I guess I'm walking, and Josuke's like, yeah, I guess so, catch you later. But he uses his ability, which is able to heal things that are broken and or pierced. So he's able to like heal people in a sense and things. So after that, so that's very different from the anime. That didn't happen. Um, the fighting thugs happened, but in a different place. I guess you could say it did happen. I mean, that was nothing really different other than going down an alleyway, no water. Excuse me, no water fountain. So after that, another thing that's very reminiscent to the anime is when he made Jotaro. Jotaro is from Stardust Crusaders, and basically is his nephew, is Josuke's nephew in an odd, bizarre way. Because if you don't know who Joseph Joestar is, he's from Part 2 and Part 3, and we know he's married, but somewhere along the line he had an affair with some lady, and that's who gave birth to Josuke. So Josuke is the son of Joseph Joestar, and is the uncle of Jotaro, because that is Jotaro's grandfather, and is now his nephew to Josuke. And he introduces himself and tells him who he is, and they tell him who his father is, and he was like, don't think he left you in the dark so long. It's not because of that, it's because he didn't know you existed till now, and now I came to tell you who he was, and that he's pushing on 60, and he's very old, he can barely walk, just like in the anime he tells him. And then he tells him that right now, if he dies, you'll be coming into a lot of money, and it's causing a lot of trouble with the family. And then you would think that after being told that he had a father and the father's being absent on his life, he'd be upset, because Jotaro thought he would be upset, but he wasn't. He was very apologetic, saying sorry he's causing so much trouble between his mom. He said my mom always told me she loved my father and whatnot, so he can't be upset. But then these girls come and they're like, Jojo, Josuke, I love your hair, blah blah blah. And Jotaro's trying to get down to business. He was like, hey, if you're done talking about talking stupid about his hair, then we can go. But Josuke only heard stupid and hair. So just like the anime, the actor who played Josuke did the sway just like in the anime. He does this sway like he's about to fight, and the purple aura comes around him, and Jotaro knows what's happened. The fight same way happens. You know, Josuke's trying to use crazy diamonds to get a front punch, but Star Platinum's faster, and he explains what a stand is, but Josuke doesn't care. He's just trying to fight him because he called his hair stupid. So he's overwhelming Star Platinum for the most part, and Jotaro mentions that Josuke's stand is very strong, and he has to do something about it. So he goes for this uppercut. Crazy Diamonds goes for this uppercut. But Jotaro uses his stand ability, which is the world, which is freezes time, and he was able to get around it, but he still took a hit, but not to his body. He was able to cut his hat. So he was able to cut his hat, and he was able to get behind Josuke and knocks him out. Tells the girls to get the hell out of here. He hates when girls start screaming. The girls leave. He apologizes that he had to do that to Josuke because, he had to do it because if he got any further, it probably would have been worse. Josuke is very understanding, and Jotaro also mentions that he's also there because there's an enemy stand going around murdering people. Shows him a picture. He mentions that he's seen the stand because there was an incident earlier where there was a heist at a hostage situation that Josuke actually helped stop. And he's seen the stand because he didn't know what it was at then. He was like, I seen the second one. This is your stand's the second one, and I seen the first one, which Jotaro mentioned. So during that time, the Angelo, which is a stand user for Aqua Necklace, he knows that Josuke knows who the stand is, and he's very upset that he was testing the waters with the stand during the hostage situation, and Josuke interfered, and he's threatened, he's like, I'm gonna kill him because I can, and he stopped me from doing it. So basically, Angelo waits for a rainy day. He waits for a rainy day to get through here because it stands more powerful during the rain. It skips a lot of stuff in the anime because this in the anime it was build up to it, but now it's just going straight to it. Makes some sense to get by. And so he's playing video games, and he goes in the kitchen. He sees his mom drink a bottle of water, a glass of water. He noticed something in the water, and it was a stand, and it's inside of her, and he's about to kill her. But Josuke's pretty smart. He gets a glass bottle. He pierces his mother through the stomach, breaks the bottle in his hand, then rewinds it to fix everything, and traps the stand in the bottle. Yes, this can happen. Just wait till what happens next. So basically, he traps the stand. Jotaro calls Josuke and says, "Hey, just trying to tell you." I mean, Josuke calls him and say, "Hey, just trying to let you know, I caught the stand. It's in a bottle." And he's like, "All right, I'm on my way." So he puts the bottle on the kitchen table, and he's basically waiting. His grandfather comes back. His grandfather is the policeman. Very upset that Josuke got into it with the hostage situation. Could have killed the hostage. But Josuke's like, you know what, dude, like, no one got hurt, so I don't know why you're mad. So, like I said, he's the policeman, so he's trying to have a good time after you're off of work. He's trying to get some whiskey. This part I don't think is in the anime. Um, Aqua Necklace, he turns the water that he's in the bottle, he turns into basically alcohol to trick the grandfather to getting him open because he sees the grandfather looking for alcohol. And so the grandfather takes it, he goes in the other room, and you hear a kaplunk. And Josuke's like, "Hey, you okay?" So he turns around to look, and he notices the bottle's gone. So he knows something happened. So he goes to rush to see what his grandfather's at, and unfortunately, he drank Aqua Necklace, and it pierced to his chest and killed him. At this point, Josuke is very upset, and he's trying to heal his grandfather, and he's not waking up. This is where he finds out that he can't bring people back from the dead. So he heals him up. Heals him up. I think I'm getting confused with the anime. I think this doesn't happen till afterwards. But he heals him up anyway. I'm just gonna mention it because I said it. He heals him up, but he waited too long, and he died. And he like the wound is healed and everything, but he can't bring people back from the dead. So Jotaro comes and he explains that he's sorry about his loss, but they had bigger problems. The stand's going around, turning the water on. It's raining outside. He's flooding the house, so now they can't go outside or stay inside, and they're being pretty overwhelmed by this. And let me mention, like, if you're a JoJo's fan, Jotaro hasn't fought anything in a couple of years now, obviously, because he mentioned it. And like he mentioned, that was another difference. Let me mention really quick that in the anime, when he fought Josuke the first time with Jotaro, Jotaro mentioned he hasn't used the hasn't used the world of time freezing thing in 10 years. But in the Japanese live action thing, he didn't mention that. So now back onto the most current thing we're talking about. So Jotaro's asking him, like, okay, so you're able to heal things. Are you able to heal yourself? And Josuke's like, no, I can't. He was like, okay, so basically you're dead. If he gets inside of you, you can't heal yourself, because he uses an example. Was like, oh, if he gets inside of you, can you heal yourself? And he's like, no. So they're trying to figure it out. And Josuke, he uses his stand's ability pretty well. He breaks a wall to get out of the flooding room, and he rebuilds it to put barriers, but the stand thought of that already, and he turned on humidifiers, and the humidifiers are putting out like the steam, and they're like running out of options. So Josuke comes with an idea, and he runs off, and Jotaro's like, wait, don't do it. And Aqua Necklace comes out, and he's about to jump in the mouth of Josuke, but again, Jotaro uses the world to freeze time, grabs it, throws it against the wall, and beats the shit out of it. Sorry, language, I know. I'm trying to stop, but he beats the crap out of it. But he finds out that the stand tells you can't hurt me, I'm water. So basically, you can't even hit this thing. So he's basically unstoppable for the most part. So as Jotaro is doing that, Aqua Necklace comes back and actually gets the job done and goes inside Josuke, goes to his mouth, and Josuke's on the ground playing the part like, oh, I can't breathe, and the stand is like laughing and whatnot. So this is where Jotaro is very creative, just like other not Jotaro, Josuke. I'm sorry, I'm getting them all mixed up. Josuke is very smart, just like a bunch of like the Joestar family. They're very creative. So what he did is, in the time being when Josuke was beating up with the world, he was able to go get his mom's like rubber glove that she washes dishes with. He tears it up and swallows it. And so when the stand went inside of it, he rebuilt the glove. The glove went up his stomach, grabbed the stand because it's like an open glove, and it rebuilt around the stand, and he coughed it up out of his mouth. Yes, he can do that. This is a very, very bizarre movie and show. So he was able to tie the knot and he trapped it inside the rubber glove, just like he trapped it in the bottle. So the stand is taken care of. They go out and deal with Angelo, and Josuke's like, I'm not gonna leave you. I'm not gonna kill you because that's too easy, and I'm not gonna let you go to prison because that's too easy. You killed my grandfather. So now this is another creative thing he does with the stand. He's learning how to do it. So he's learning how to use the stand as he goes. So he's beating the unholy crap out of Angelo. And it's like his limbs are flying off, and then he's beating him up against this rock. So he beats him up, and he rebuilds the rock inside of his body, and he keeps doing it. He keeps beating him up, and you see limbs flying everywhere, and the rock is flying everywhere, and he rebuilds it, rebuilds it until he's one with the rock. And before he gets solidified into it, he tells everyone that Kaicho is the one that shot him with the arrow, and that he doesn't know why he shot it with it, and that's how he got his stand powers. And then he completely turns into the rock. So he gets to that. They have the funeral, the grandfather's funeral, and then Kaicho comes out and says, hey, meet me at this place once and for all. So that's when we made another character, Okuyasu. Okuyasu is a friend of Josuke's later down the line, but right now he's an enemy. And the guy who played Okuyasu, he did a really good job. Looks just like him. You know, they did, like I'm telling you, the people who created the clothes they wear did a really good job. He does a really good job. The director makes sure of it, that it does a great job to, be close to the anime. So basically, they're there. Okuyasu's fighting Josuke. Josuke notices that his stand, Okuyasu's stand, his hands are glowing. He doesn't want to be touched. So basically, he's fighting off his hand from being touched because if basically his stand's ability, I forgot what his stand's name is. It's pretty simple, but his Okuyasu's stand's ability is that if he touches you with his hand, you're erased. So Josuke's trying not to get hit by it, but during all this, Koichi gets struck in the neck with the arrow that Kaicho shot, and then he's trying to see if he can get a stand, and so he drags Koichi off, and Josuke, deals with Okuyasu, and so he's chasing him inside the house. He's trying to get to Koichi before he dies because he knows that if he dies, he can't rewind him and heal him. So he's trying to get there. Koichi's trying to hold on to dear life that he got shot in the neck. I don't know how he survived that, but basically, this is where Kaicho shows where his stand is, which is bad company. There's a bunch of toy soldiers and whatnot. It's shooting Josuke. Toy soldiers, toy helicopters, toy tanks, real missiles, real bullets. So they're toys, so it's small, but if you get shot by it, it still hurts. You know what I'm saying? So Okuyasu's trying to, come from behind the Josuke, but Josuke is dodging the bullets, and Kaicho ends up shooting his brother, Okuyasu and Kaicho are brothers. I don't know if I mentioned it. So he gets shot, and Kaicho doesn't even care. Kaicho is the one who's with the arrow. He doesn't give a shit. And he's like, bro, you should never got in the way. You've always been in the way. And so basically, Josuke thinks that's messed up. He heals him, but this plays out because Okuyasu becomes Josuke's teammate and helps get Koichi for him to heal him to save his life just in time. But this also activates his stand ability, and he's like, oh, well, and Kaicho, he's like, well, if you use a stand, if you survive the arrow, you have a stand. So he's pressuring him, and his Koichi actually uses his stand, and it's like an egg, and it hatches into Act 1. It's like a little lizard, but it falls upside down, and it doesn't know what to do, and he's like, how pathetic. That's a pathetic stand. So he goes back to Josuke, and he's pressuring him with all these missiles, and Josuke can't get close enough because, he's a close range fighter, like I mentioned, and all these other airplanes and stuff is keeping him at bay. But then Josuke's sitting down, and he punches with the missiles, and it breaks up, and it breaks him apart. And Kaicho thinks he has him won, but I don't know if it's the anime or the live action. But Kaicho mentions somewhere along the lines where it was like, if I give them order, they don't stop until they finish. So Josuke catches on to that. I don't know if that's the anime or whatever, but this part happens rather. What I said is true in the live action or not. So Josuke uses the missile shrapnel that he punched to rebuild it, and it goes back to Koche and blows up, and it stops his stand, and that is that for Koche. But Koche mentions that why he did all this is because his dad used to work for Dio, and Dio put this mind control inside of his mind, inside of his brain, which is very reminiscent to what happened to Polnareff and everyone else. And basically, Dio was using his dad to find stand users for his army or whatever, and gave him a bunch of money, and they were super rich. But when Dio was killed, the brain thing in his brain, in the father's brain, kind of went haywired and turned him into this ugly green monster. And he was like, the only reason why I was shooting people with arrows that he got from Dio is because I wanted someone to become a stand user that could eventually kill my father, which is very sad. But Josuke noticed it, but he was like, yeah, he just walks around the floor and just picks up pieces of paper and puts it in that box. Like, he's mindless. He doesn't know what he's doing. So Josuke uses his stand to get the papers that the father was collecting, and it's actually a picture of the family. So he does remember, and Koche says he doesn't remember, but he does. And so they have this little father, son, brother moment. But then this is very different from the anime. So in the anime, after they do that, Red Hot Chili Peppers comes in, which is another stand, and tries to steal the arrow. But in this case, the bomb from Killer Queen from I forgot his name, Akuhi Kaiba or something like that. No, that's freaking Sword Art Online. Kira, I'm just gonna call him Kira. So Kira, not from Death Note, but Kira stand. Killer Queen comes in, and it's a heat-seeking one, so it goes up to the little brother Akiyasu, and Kaicho jumps in front of it, and it drills into his stomach. And he's like, brother, are you okay? He was like, why do you always get in my way? You've always held me back. So he turns around and he looks at his brother, and he went for the Killer Queen's bomb that went into his stomach, Kaicho's stomach, is actually in his mouth now. So it basically went up through his whole body, and it blows up, blowing up the arrow, the bow, and Kaicho, and that is Kaicho's demise. Okuyasu says his brother deserved it. They don't know who that stand is or what happened, so basically they just have to get over it. He swears that he's gonna get revenge for his brother, even though his brother deserved it. Things go back to normal in this little bizarre story. Okuyasu, Josuke, and Koichi become friends. It shows other Easter eggs like the girl that I mentioned earlier, which is in the movie, which is in the beginning, that talks to Koichi. She's that's the Easter egg. She's also a stand user. What was her name? Yukako. She's a stand user, and you'll see her later in the second part, I'm guessing. And the credits roll down, and after that, you see another Easter egg, which is like a Avengers cutscene, basically. After the end of the credits, you see Kira's victim with the bloody is a woman's hand. It's his calling card. He keeps women's hands, severed hands on his table, and he worships him. And that's it. And that's the story. There's a lot of similarities and a couple of differences. The acting was great. The music was great. The fighting was great. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10, just because they did skip out on a lot of stuff. But it is a live action movie, so obviously they are gonna skip some stuff. But a 7 for this is really great for me. There's a lot of other live action movies that do horrible. Shout out to Death Note, that are completely different stories than what they're based off of. And this one is very true to form. The clothing they wore is just like the anime. The fight, some of the scenes and dialogue are straight out of the anime. The body language and how all these people acted are straight like the anime characters. And if you haven't watched this movie and you're like Manuel, who told me not to watch it or buy it, you should definitely try it out. I'm pretty sure you'll like it if you're a Jojo's fan. It's not that much. It's not expensive either, like most of these live action movies. And I'm pretty sure on Amazon Prime it's like $3 if you want to rent it. So it's not that bad. It's the same thing on YouTube. So check it out. I hope this was a very good thing. I did spoil a lot. I did mention there was going to be spoilers. I hope I did. But yes, that is my review for this. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to try to do more JoJo stuff if I can. I don't know what else I can do other than, retell the whole thing. But thank you for watching, guys. Check out this movie. It's really great. Really good action. You guys will love it. I'm probably going to rewatch it right now. But thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Leave a like. Tell me who your favorite JoJo's characters down below in the comments section. Mine's is Joseph Joestar. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.